Now today we're going to discuss the qualities of a shooting guard. So as we go through a list and we sit here and we talk about the different variations and variables that we would want a shooting guard to have and embody for us as a coach or as a teammate, what do you think are the qualities when you talk about a shooting guard, when you talk about that word leader for a shooting guard, what does that mean to you?
For me, I think a leader, especially the shooting guard, was people depend on you to do your job. Where it could be scoring, making plays. And for me I always had to make sure that I allowed my teammates to know I'm going to perform and I'm going to do my job tonight. You know, and for like me, a Michael Jordan, we were better players and we were scorers. So we took the leadership on to tell, hey guys, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna be in controlled aggression. So I'm gonna be in attack mode the whole night, but you understand, like, I'm still going to get you the ball if you're open. I'm talking to my teammates and say, believe in what I'm doing because I'm going out to get this game. You know, it wasn't about me getting 50 points or nothing like that. It was basically saying, hey, I'm coming to work. You be ready to work just as hard as I'm about to work. So as a two guard, we were just taking leadership on because we had a job to do. And I don't care if it's like a Ray Allen who's a shooter. He still had a job to do. And I think we understood that as players, as making sure our leadership role was to come in and keep everybody at the same even keel that you want, but you had to be in controlled aggression at all times. So it was great for me to be able to have that leadership. Gotcha.
So now we want to go to the next term, and the next term we want to talk about is a communicator, because once again, a point guard's nature of communication is different than a two guard or 3 or 4 or 5. So for a two guard, what would the communication feel like to you?
It was basically, I see the game different. So if a point guard's bringing the ball up, I'm watching the other guys, watching how the bigs are setting screens. So I can relay that to my teammate, my point guard. Say, hey man, they're hedging on me hard, watch the slip for the big. I'm watching the game. So as a two guard, the communication has to be recognizing how the game is being played. Recognize if they're trapping pick and rolls. So I don't want to leave my point guard for dead and I'm just running through to get the ball and they're shooting a gap. I got to start communicating with him, eye contact, hey, watch me, and I'll fake up and he knows to look at back door because they're being aggressive on me. So as a communicator, you got to watch the game. A lot of guys just wanting to get the ball. It's more than that. So I watch the game. I'm looking when I'm coming down court, seeing, oh, they're sagging over here. I'm telling my point guard, go here. I'm telling my other bigs to back screen me and just to get them off tilt. The game is communication, is watching the game. But if you're just watching the ball and worrying about you, you can't communicate because you're just worrying about yourself.
Exactly, exactly. So then the next thing that trickles, because at the end of the day, when you're speaking of communication in a way, a lot of things you're talking about deals with IQ. So the next term would be IQ. So IQ as a two guard, what would that mean to you?
As a two guard, IQ again is basically understanding the game. Has nothing to do with my talent at that point because I'm gonna go against a lot of people just as good as me, athletically or whatever. But I think if I can outthink that dude and I can help my team outthink the other team, that's when we become a better team and my game gets to shine more. So now if I get a backdoor layup, that's a dunk, I'm in the highlight reel. Now if I run my man off a screen, tell my big to come up, slip, he gets a layup, we all look good. So I think the IQ is understanding the game. And I think that comes from me expressing at the beginning of the game, hey, I'm ready to play with controlled aggression. I'm watching the game, telling people how to see the game with me, and then my IQ wears off on them. And I think that's a big difference is if you're quiet, what you think the rest of the team doing? They're quiet, so nobody's getting smart. So for me, I always kind of wanted to be the guy with a high IQ so I could actually help change the game, not from just a physical but a mental standpoint.